What's popular YouTube? Another day, another demo. Oh my goodness gracious. If you just woke up for some reason, you're on a really bad sleep schedule, or you just decided to open up Twitter after taking a social media break, you might have seen today has been crazy. It's been nuts. Why has that been crazy? Because Woxic got benched from Cloud9. That's the only reason. That's the only reason why it's been crazy today on the on online. That's the only reason things have been crazy. Ryan has an update here. I just want to make it clear: Woxic is not being benched for toxicity plus source close to the situation. I don't know the exact reason. I was told it was an unrelated and to performance. What is it with this deal and like this whole narrative of Woxic being toxic? That was like something that I think Nell wrote into an article that just was not true at all. And then his teammates never said that about him. And then like that was cited as a reason he was gone from Mouse Sports. Just wasn't true. No one's ever confirmed this. It's just not something a teammate has ever said. Just I don't know. I don't know where that's even coming from. I didn't even read that in the report that was mentioned. I don't know. Okay, so what happened here? Internal disagreement took place. One person close did not believe that there was a internal disagreement that took place that would cause them to be placed. First link. So, the question is, does Zeba end up opping? So I was told that he was second opper on X Chaos, but I don't remember, and I didn't watch that much, so I don't know. Okay, so here's Alex is the one who's going to be taking over. I think Alex would make more sense than Zeppa. The issue directly for me and Alex opping over someone else is, I think, how I don't know how good Alex is going to be as an opper. I don't think anybody knows. He played with Ziwu before. Like, he maybe learned stuff from that, and maybe he was second opping a lot as well. I can't remember back then. He definitely hasn't been recently. And what we've seen from him on a lot of his positions on CT side is a lot of floating and a lot of rotating. I can't imagine Alex being the opper on Dust 2, for example, and not being able to overstack A, overstack B. Who's now playing rotator in this position? Where is the other positions fill in? Like, I mean, I trust Alex for as far as he wants to, make changes for now, because I think I've seen very good results. And it's his team, kind of like everything works under him. So if he understands the system he wants to opping and IGLing is not a bad fit. How good will he be? Listen, this is a very op-centric meta. We'll see from the players in the top 10 all the way down to the fact that the top 3 players are oppers, as they were last year. The fact that Big breaks in because of Searson, top 4 right now. Cadian on Heroic, out-opping people of tier 1 teams, literally. Art, of course, we know how much value he has. Montu, standout year, insane stats this year. A huge reason for OG's climb, no question. And G2 actually falling off because of Kenny S and his inconsistency. Kind of riding on his wave, whatever. If he's going up, the team's going up. If he's not going up, the team's not going up. Mouseboard's having issues. Liquid having issues. Is this a coincidence? It's not. FaZe? Roki's a good opper, but listen, you know my thoughts, okay? you know my thoughts. I think you can only help a team snowball. These are oppers that take the game over, that win you tournaments. So I don't know what's going to happen. I think we're moving a bit fast with Cloud9. I don't know what happened here. From the outside, we can only know so much. I think Woxic, I read a funny tweet that said Woxic is... What if current opper is cosplaying as an op delivery service on Ecos? I've mentioned that is a thing that he does sometimes. I would just say that it's not been much time, and it's like, who do you replace with Woxic? And Alex is like, me. So I guess we just have to see what happens. Very interesting situation. Okay, so now we look forward from that report onto our next topic of conversation. Who is going to be in the HLTV top 20 players of 2020 in number 14? Yesterday, we had Brolin come through as number 15. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. This was a very strong year for Brolin. And listen, I actually didn't even look at the Fnatic players because of how off the radar they were for me. And I'm going to show you why. That being said, I feel bad about this one. I think I could have definitely seen an argument for top 20. Let's compare some of these stats, by the way, to updated 2020 stats. I thought really, really amazing, this jump. 31 map versus top 5 opponents. Well, I don't even know where these events were where these matches came from. Maybe from mostly the beginning of the year. Because from my perspective, I wasn't seeing Fnatic at a lot of events. And I guess there's 2 seasons of Pro League plus Kato, which I don't even think. Let's see, Kato, yeah, which was a decent event here. Beijing, which was not great. I mean, I guess they were around. They just didn't place. So that was the thing. Like, this was not, like, Fnatic were just not on my radar at all. I think if you watch Flashpoint, maybe you have, like, rose-colored glasses on for Fnatic. But I'm sure some people realize, like, this isn't even... First of all, they didn't even win. So this was a tough one. But, like, individually, and the presence is here, and it didn't lose because of him. Look at this. That's actually really good. I want to be consistent. I didn't even look at these stats. So, listen, at least we're getting some Europeans on the list. That's all I have to say. But now it just makes the list of snubs even greater, I think. I don't know where it goes from here. I think it's pretty funny that that this is how it's rolling out. Not a single player that's listed on the top 20 so far I even have on my list. I mean, more than that, I didn't even consider them. I mean, I actually considered maybe the Furia guys, but, like, didn't think that there'd be room on the HLTV list for them. Who would have thought it's HLTV to have more NA bias than I do? It's going too hard the other direction, I guess. I was trying to be fair to the Europeans. But yeah, the priorities here are have made themselves very clear. These deep tournament runs don't seem to matter. It doesn't seem to matter at all. So deep tournament runs at important tournaments, that literally does not seem to matter for the top 20. Because we got the NA players plus players at EU don't have deep tournament runs. It's an interesting position. So, the consistency will reveal itself as we get down in the top 10. But at the same time, there's only a few more players that we could potentially see. Dupree and Magis probably still need a spot here, right? We might need one extra slot for a player on Vitality. We've got 2 from Na'Vi, 1 from Big. I don't think Xantares is going to be... I don't think Xantares is going to be on here. But, oh man, it's going to be pretty... We haven't had a single player from Heroic, which is actually a bit messy with them just because of how up and down they were. Woo! It's getting tight. Okay, who is our number 14 prediction for the top 20 players of 2020? It is... Shoot. Shocks! And I have Montu here, number 14 for my personal prediction, because, again, he was a player who snuck up on me, like looking at Brolin just now. Really impressed. Didn't notice, didn't watch the games as much, whatever. So I can have them in there, but I didn't know myself. I didn't notice as much. I think that played a factor in my list. So Shocks is my prediction for number 14 for the HLTV top list. I think when I was looking at this, I was also thinking, like, all right, well, some common themes are, of course, you're going to have like 1 or 2 players from the top teams, especially the top 3, where they'll probably have 2 players on the list. Simple Electronic, Device, and then, Magisk or Dupree. We have, and then, Vitality, Ziwu, one other. Who's the one other? That one other is Shox. A really, really strong year from Shox. Albeit not quite as clear-cut as someone like Electronic, as quite as clear-cut as someone like even Dupree or Magisk, in my opinion. I think there is an argument, a very strong argument for Shox. Let's make this smaller so we can really... What's going on? This thing is like lagging for now. This is time filter. Oh, looking at events here. Hopefully it's not going to lag out. Events 2021. Okay. Lots of deep runs. So it brings the stats down a little bit. More matches played versus good competition. Same will be said for Dupree for Magisk. Not an amazing rating here. But, Dupree, we're looking at like a 1.03. It's like for the super top players, it's really hard for them to get like the over 110. Anything above 105, I think even Magisk maybe. I guess Magisk is like 107. So there's quite a drop off here. But like, actual wins plus Shox overall ratings at their biggest events. As you can see, they win some of these events because of Shox. They lose some of these events because of Shox. It's very clear that there's a strong correlation here. And at this is maybe their biggest win of the year. Beijing, also one of Shox's strongest. Second place finish at Cologne, 1.20. So a little bit skewed in terms of the consistency, but you have to be reverent of the fact that at these big events where they needed him a lot, he was clearly up to the challenge. And it was really the sprint in the final quarter where he turned up the hardest. So kind of just stayed afloat in the beginning, and I'm sorting here by placings, but this is also kind of sorting by time. Exception would be the global challenge, but 110 there as well. So yeah, that's kind of it. I have a lot of good things to say about Shox. I could see it myself, like the impact was there. Said the same thing about Xantares, but at least there was a correlation between big events, big performances, unlike with Xantares, who fell off a lot. Shox plays on 1680 by 1050, 3.0 sensitivity. Oh, I forgot to plug in his view model. Let's do that. This poor guy's going to get you on 1610 black bars. I don't even know if that's real. Pro settings is not always correct, is something I've learned. But, guys, I make these videos every single day. I can't be finding the settings that they have on their stream that their biggest fan knows about, that only they know how to find for every single player I do every single day, right? I hope you understand. Look at how weird this video is cropped. 1610, if he really plays like this. He's just pretending. He just has too much ego about not playing on native, right? He's convinced everyone native sucks, but he realizes native's a good resolution, but this is the resolution he wants to play. He wants to play on the skinniest black bars of all time. Supermodel bars for Shox in the 1610. Absolutely absurd. Come on. The only reason that I could think that you'd play on a res like this, you stretch it out, you get better crosshairs. Maybe you get better than native crosshairs. You lose a huge amount of crispiness, which some people may not like. But let me tell you, it does help you see farther more easily. I've seen people trying to go 800 by 600 and fight Pit from Dust 2A site. It's not pretty. But yeah, whatever. Okay. French players in weird settings is pretty normal. It's pretty normal. Oh, that was so annoying by RPK. I actually love that. Just peeking right 3 times in a row, right? That's like hitting black 3 times in a row on a roulette table. They're like, no, now he peeks left. Now he peeks left. No, right. The mind game. Beautiful. Let's watch the RPK demo, huh? Part of the reason I wanted to watch this game is because it's versus NIP. And NIP on Overpass has always been a big mystery to me. The way that they play CS... Okay, the way that they play Overpass is like Fnatic without the pushing. They play the most vanilla, non-aggressive, Swedish T-side ever. They sit back in a default. They spread the map. They don't touch anything. They wait. It's so sweet. It's like a Swedish pug. Like, this is the reason Swedish pugs are so good and how mixes could work so well in Sweden is they played such a simple, stripped-down version of CS. And that was the meta, you know, a long time ago. Swedish CS has fallen off a lot since then, and Fnatic are a very unique team. But the way that sometimes NIP play, it's like they're just remembering their roots in the worst way possible. And I want to know how Vitality react to this. I think it's a pretty close half. And when NIP do well is when they punish a lot of mistakes, kind of like the Brokey effect. If the opportunity comes to them, they don't miss. They have very good aimers. Their default works well up until a point. But seriously, how quickly it feels like they run out of ideas sometimes, or how they move so slowly they actually just grind the clock down to 0 on their T sides, or like how non-threatening they are that teams can hold grenades versus them often. It's pretty alarming. So right now we've got Shox trying to control stairs. Let's see who goes for the repeat. He'll take Plopsky out, who tries to punish, and now he's got a player above him. We're just paying attention to rotations here on CT side. See, the door is just an escape route. It's they Fianchetto'd Shox, right? They gave him a little pocket to escape from. Ha ha ha. Fianchetto cheddar cheese. Shock's going to be walking back up to the A site. There's 2 players here. He's overstacking for what it's worth. Like, all right, they're going to replace... What on earth is this? They're giving him the M4. Interesting. They're putting up here. It's a little bit risky, the fact that this isn't being boosted up properly. Now, he's going to keep his eyes on both angles. Okay, they show their face at long. He's nice and comfy. Then they trade out. The idea here is just, of course, Shox dies. Because he's, you know, holding a 50-50, RPK can recover the gun. And Ziwu gets 3 kills on the other side of the map. Beautiful stuff. Yeah, and that's pretty much the NIP. Very quiet games from NIP when you watch them. Overpass and whatever. Not a lot of pressure. There's a different kind of pressure they apply. It's like it's an eerie nervousness. They make it quiet. They quiet everything down so that any small noise is a really big deal. Okay, but looks like Vitality are finding the spots, and Shox is helping out. So he wanted to peek that. He might have been aware of Twist, but I think he was trying to peek that and then get in front of the rock maybe and get out of line of sight. So there was a chance there for a big play. I think Shox played it well. I don't know how he would have actually dealt with that. Oh, this actually comes down to a 1v1. Let's see how it goes. Apex, he's probably been heard walking up, but you cut noise just to make it so that they don't know exactly how far, where you've gone. And oh my goodness, Twist actually wins that. That's beautiful. That's sick. Okay, and Shox just playing Rotator. They're not being too aggressive on the A site. And I think when Shox was really in a slump in the past couple of years, when that G2 project failed, that was so cool. I think he was, first of all, when he was calling, it was changing the way he played, and he was playing too aggressively. And now I think Shox plays with, again, kind of like Henny, the right amount of explosiveness, but a lot more discipline. And he's good enough, like Henny, to outduel anybody, like win the duels when he needs to. But now he just doesn't wide swing on everybody. He used to just use himself like a sacrificial lamb and fly out on angles. And just like, you know, ultimately just get caught up with. They lose duels. They wait for him to push. And now Shox is a much more useful player. He's the most well-rounded player to ever touch this game. He can use every gun efficiently. He can be a primary opera for a team. And after IGLing, which was an amazing IGL, he still at least showed that he could do that role as well. But now, with him living for more seconds in a round, I think we're seeing a Shox that can create a lot more value, right? He's going to be one of the smartest rotators on the map. He's going to be your best. He's your most clutch player. He is your most clutch player. He's the most clutch player in CSGO history, as far as I'm concerned. And that even stands today. And then he is somebody who, again, he can pick up all guns. So a very good player to have in the mid-round where things require a little bit of creativity. As opposed to someone who's just going to be like an entry fragger and like just use him for his aim. Why do that? You don't get much value in that regard. So, yeah, we can see he's living quite a long time. Each of these rounds are taking a bit of information. He's falling back. He's going to come through the smoke, it looks like, and try to help out towards B. They've got the bomb inside. He clears things out. He's not seeing anything. 3-on-3 situation. He has the fallback. He just wants to cause a pin, right? Oh, my God. Off audio. Sit there. Oh, that was a Tarek step back, by the way. He peeked out, but he took a left step back instead of just stopping, and it messed up the dude's aim. The first time on this channel, I'll show you guys a Tarek step back. It's on a Shocks demo. So now we're in a bathroom setup again. I was wondering if there was rifles or not. We get the answer to that. Hampus goes down 50-50. This is a very strong spot for Shocks to be in. He's the kind of player where if he doesn't have a lot of cover, he can still make gold from it. And oh, this is why Knock is already on my 2020 players list for next year. Wow. That was something special. So the 2 rounds that NIP have won, Twist, Clutch, and Knock, insane round. Okay. And now we've got the res entries as well. You see the CS is simple, but they're punishing with their aim. And Vitality are going to try into this next round. Let's see what they do here. They've got a 4B setup. Looks like they're going to spot mid, maybe with an op, because we had a good spawn, or go stairs. Yeah, we're going to go stairs instead. Flash for long B is coming, it looks like. They just don't want to waste it. So ideally you throw this flash when they're in the tunnel, right? If you put a flash on the other side, you get a false positive, you alert them, you waste a flash. If you get them in the tunnel, they can't fall back, they probably eat it, they probably die. They could be 3K spray down, round over. So a lot of reasons you want to delay, even if you have 2 flashes, to look for a timing. Sometimes you want to wait for their grenades to come over, which is why executing all the time is not always good CS. Because all you do is allow yourself to be telegraphed. That's why sometimes people throw empty flashes to cause flashes like that. That's why we see flashes get thrown from the T side as they're leaving a position or thinking about executing later on. And Shocks making one hell of a play. Uses just enough ammo. Knocks down 2. And I bet you anything he does damage. Causes the push through. Punishes res. Enormous play by Shocks. Just to show NIP that they're not the only ones who can make individual moves. And now they're trying to punish the monster exec. And this is the kind of, I feel like this is where NIP, I don't know, sometimes they can be a bit disappointing. Like, you know, coming right into a monster exec after all that, there just wasn't much, there wasn't, I don't know. I don't think there was much for Vitality to be afraid of in that regard, because they've stopped that so many times already. And now we're off to controlling stairs. I think we're into pistols. I'm going to skip through because they should win. It comes a bit close there. And yeah, safe house strategy, top of bathrooms. You guys ever seen Eastern Promises? This is, oh, okay. Oh, he tried to take his time. Rez came through with the crouch. He was going to line up both kills almost. He saw him. And listen, he dies, but that's actually quite good info, right? So I don't know if Vitality lose this round. We'll see if that happens, but they lose long control. They set up on bathrooms, and then they kind of need to rotate. They're a little bit weird on the setup. Yeah, I was thinking either they retake long control or, you know, they rotate a little bit faster, but instead they fight towards bathrooms and don't let the rotations come in. That could have been a good move if they just predicted A, but that's also a risk. I felt it coming, even though I couldn't see. So, I don't know. It seemed like they had the idea as well. Plopsky spam to the back of the wood, and Rez kills Shocks again. A bit confused because Shocks and Rez and Plopsky were both out there firing back at him. All right. That's a quickie. getting punished a bit on the strong default. And yeah, I mean, that's the one strength of NIP. Okay, one strength of NIP, strong individual plays. Another strength is like if you do try super aggressive stuff, they might be good at stopping that. Weakness of NIP, if you play back a bit, they can literally take too long to have enough time to execute properly in every single round. And sometimes the strategies get a bit stale. Sometimes easy to telegraph their moves because of how simplistic they play. But we can see like how they win on T side where it works. And there, the entries come through. And the multi-frag potential is high. Twist, especially when he's playing well, who's not always playing well. Then they have Knock behind that. They have Plopsky and they have Rez. I'll just give a small shout out to Hampus since we're just listing off every player on the team. And that's actually the end of the game. A quick one. Sorry about the late upload today. I wanted to talk about Crims as well. Actually, I should do that because people are going to be kind of upset. I actually yesterday, and rightfully so, yesterday I just totally blew by it. I think I mentioned I was going to talk about it and then forgot. I kind of wanted to lump in Crims and Brolin in the same conversation just because of the events and like the ratings with like the runs. And yeah, I mean, looking at Crims, I mean, I'm kind of surprised to see two players from Fnatic on this list. I guess I'm less so surprised about Brolin than I am about Crims. You know, we've got a few negative events. It looks like Flashpoint mattered a lot in terms of these players because they showed up here. I think the same will be said maybe for Valda, maybe for OG in general. I wonder, yeah, I don't know exactly what to discern here when it comes to the specific stats. We've got good rate, like just right on par with everything, just not falling off at all throughout the year. He's a mad consistent rifler. He's a super strong CT side performer, a very smart player, and yeah, very consistent even in a very tumultuous time. And I mean, that's the long and short of it about Crims. I really didn't watch that much this year from Fnatic. They weren't really on my radar as a real threat to win anything, and I don't think they. I guess they got Pro League Season 11. That's the big win. And this was probably weighed quite heavily because, I mean, you know, good teams are here. So, I mean, this probably matters a lot. Plus, into the best of 5 final versus Mouse Sports. Yeah. So, I guess that's the big one. That's the big one. Nice closing map here for Crims when it mattered the most. All right, well, I will go ahead and do another one tomorrow. We'll be back tomorrow as we round out this list. We're getting close now into 13, 12, and then 11, and we have a complete picture of the 2020, and we can only hope we at least get one player in there that we predicted. All right, see you guys tomorrow.